Oh, so today we're doing a shiny review of some Pokemon. I did a couple past ones on YouTube, so we're just going to pick up from where we left off on there. And I have been fighting hard to get these guys Deoxys. This is the normal type. And I love the shinies in these guys. They are fantastic in the way they look. And this is one of the other forms here. I believe this is the speed form. I would have to double check on that. But yes, I am pumped. I have two of them. I have some time yet, so I'm going to be trying to get the other two forms. I'm looking forward to Raid Hour on Sunday, where I will try to get some more with my limited time that I have on Sunday. So, yeah, so we'll scroll down on these ones to this guy here is another new one for me, the Spoink Evolution Grumpig. So this one here, I actually like the colors here that they chose. I think that they did well on this one. Um, and yeah, it looks really, really cool. So fantastic job on Spoink and Grumpig. Spoink, of course, is mainly the cream color there. And if we go down here, we will look at another one that I just got recently. So where did we leave off here? So yeah, we can take a look at some of these here, but Jinx, that one there, I really like what they did with this one. I hate the Jinx Pokemon. I think it's hideous. But with the shiny, I think that they did a good job in the colors that they chose. So as much as I hate this Pokemon, great job Niantic on the shiny version. And then there is Kangaskhan. And I really like, again, what they did with this one. They did nothing too crazy, but it does show up as being different. Still kind of goes along with the same colors that you would see maybe in a kangaroo. And as well, that gray sticks to the normal theme there with those colors that we see. And then there's Kingdra, the horsey evolution. I love what they did with this one. That purple really looks great, and the yellow they chose for the belly really just stands out and pops. So great job, Niantic, on Kingdra. I am impressed with that one. Kingler, great job in changing the colors. I don't like the colors that they chose. I think that they could have definitely gone with something else that would have stood out a little bit more. Something that would have just made it a way brighter looking Pokemon. Crabs are very red, so they could have gone with a completely red color on this one. And it would have, I think, stood out a little bit more if they'd done like a red against that white that they have on the bottom there. And then there's Klinklang, and this is the Klink evolution. I actually do like the colors they chose with here. It makes it look that kind of goldy bronze, and yeah, I really like it better than the gray they have with the original there. And the center of the gears they chose with the green and the pink, they stand out. So I think they did a fantastic job on this one as well. And Kricketune, I like the colors they chose with Kricketune. Kind of a useless Pokemon in my opinion. So it's not something I ever battle with or use really. That's why I haven't really powered this one up, because I do think it's kind of one of those useless Pokemon. But the colors they chose was a good color. So I think they did great with that one. And Kyurem, I love this guy, and I love the shinies that they chose for this one. The colors are really nice. Not extremely different from the original, but I still really like the colors they chose. And this is one I like to battle with here. So yeah, great job on that one. Lantern, again, I like the colors they chose with this. They didn't go too crazy. But I kind of wish that with the light in front that they chose something other than yellow, maybe done a red in the front there, just so it stands out just a little bit more and adds to the difference. but I get why they stuck with the yellow. The yellow goes along with that electric theme. And Lapras, I again really like the colors they chose for Lapras. The purple is a good choice here, and so great job Niantic on Lapras, and the Lapras with the bow in the shiny. That one looks really nice as well to go along with that. Leafeon. I love the Eevee evolutions, and I love the shiny versions of them. So I think they did a decent job on this one. They could have done maybe something a little bit less subtle and gone with something a little that would stand out a little bit more. But still, it's an Eevee, and I like their evolutions. Ledian, one of the most useless Pokemon in the entire game. I have only kept this one because it is the shiny. I'm not a big fan of the shiny version either, but for my shiny decks, I have kept one of this. I have not kept any of the the non-shiny because I think Ledian is just completely useless. Lickitung, another one of those Pokemon that I really hate. It just is a terrible Pokemon, but I like the color that they chose for this one. The kind of gold color they chose is a good choice on this guy. I haven't evolved this to the yet in the shiny, but I will. I just need some Sinnoh stones. Linoone. I like what they've done with Linoone. I think they could have done more to make it stand out a little bit, but it is a decent looking Pokemon. Not the most effective of Pokemon either. I much prefer the Linoone and Zigzagoon evolution that turns into Obstagoon. I much prefer that one. And Lopunny, this one here, when it comes to the Megas, I will be Mega Evolving the shiny version of this because I like to Mega Evolve shiny versions. Not too bad what they did with this one. The pink kind of goes along with what they'd done before. So I think that was a good choice, and I think it stands out as being a different Pokemon. Not a Pokemon I really battle with, but not bad. And Ludicolo, I love what they did with this guy, the Lotad evolution. The Lotad looks fantastic, and when it gets to this one, I really like that teal color. It just looks fantastic. So Niantic did a great job with this one here. Really cool looking. And Lugia, yes, I have this in the Lucky. I could not believe it. I traded for 2 Lugia because I did not have them on this account, and the one Lugia, the normal type, that one turned lucky, and then I traded for the shiny, and the shiny turned lucky. I could not believe it. So I was very happy with that. I do like the shiny version of this one as well. They didn't do anything too crazy, but I like what they did do, and I really like Lugia. It's one of the favorite Pokemon of mine and my son's. And then Lunatone, this one I think was a complete flop. They did not do a good job on Lunatone. They really just darkened it just slightly. So to me, that was a real cop-out with Lunatone. There's a lot that they could have done with this one here. Even if they had gone like a dark gray or a black and then had the yellow in the inside circle, I think that would have looked a lot better. It would have really stood out. It would have really popped. But no, instead Niantic copped out on this one. They failed on Lunatone. Luxray. Yes, I love Shinx. The Shinx is completely yellow. By the time it gets up to Luxray, you do lose a little bit of that contrast, but I still absolutely love this. For the regular non-legendary Pokemon, this is one of my favorites, is Shinx and Luxray. So very pleased to have gotten this one here in the event that we just had there. And then there is Lycanroc. And I like this one as well. This is, of course, the Rockruff evolution. I love the blue that they chose for Rockruff and that they carried it into the Lycanroc. I I really do like this one. Not the most effective of Pokemon, but hey, it's still decent. And I just for shiny version, I really like the blue that they did in Rockruff and carried into this one. Um, and Machamp, I like the green that they chose. It kind of goes along with that Hulk theme. So I do like what they've done with this one. It was kind of interesting to have that Hulk carry into this game here. And of course, I have a couple of those shinies. And then I have a Lucky Magcargo. And this is the Slugma evolution. I like what they did with this one. It kind of stands out a bit here. And it's interesting in terms of the contrast between that, what they did with the original and what they've done with this one. So I do think that they've done a good job on that one. Magmar, the Pepto-Bismol color, I'm not a big fan of. They did really change the color on this one, but I almost wish that they had done something very different from this, because the pink Pepto-Bismol I'm not a fan of. And then there is Magmortar, which is, of course, Magmar's evolution. And again, not a fan of the colors they chose on that one. But they did change the colors. I have a few of that one because I had traded. And then there's Magnezone, which is the Magnemite evolution. I don't mind what they did with this one. I think that there's a little more that they could have done to make it a better shiny. But not terrible. Yeah, I think that where the magnets are, I think that they could have made those things a red, and I think that I would have liked it a little bit better if it was that dark red. And then there's Malamar. I really like Malamar, which is the Inkay evolution, and I like the Inkay as well. They did a great job with that one, making the Inkay that golden color, and Malamar, they carried that gold into its head. In that top part there, and the red and green on the tentacles, like it. They did a good job on that one. Mamoswine, which is the Swinub evolution. I don't mind what they did with this one. I think there's more that they could have done to, I don't know, make it a little bit of a Pokemon that stands out a little bit more. But they did change the colors on it, so not a terrible job on that one. And Mandibuzz. I like the way that they changed Mandibuzz. Makes it a little more feminine, but I do like the colors that they've chosen with this one. It does stand out, very different from the regular. And of course, this is the Vullaby evolution. And then there's Manectric, and that is the Electrike evolution. I love what they did with this, actually. I think that the colors they chose here really stand out. They kept the yellow for the electric type, and the gray kind of makes that yellow stand out. So I think they did a good job on that one. And Mantine, love the blue. I absolutely love the blue on this one. Yeah, it's not that most useful of Pokemon, but I do really like the blue that they chose on this. It really does stand out. Marowak. I love the Alolan shiny Marowak. It is a fantastic looking Pokemon, and I really like what they did with the shiny version here. Yeah, and just even the regular Alolan in Marowak looks really, really cool. And its Bone Club is deadly. And then we have Medicham, one of the most useless Pokemon as well. Goes along with that Ledian in terms of my thought on its quality. But with the shiny, I do like what they did with the shiny. Made it very different from the original, and it does stand out. Then we have Meganium, which is the Chikorita evolution, and I like the colors that they chose for it. And I like the colors that they chose for the flower on this one. It still looks like that grass type. So, yeah, I think they did a good job on this one, and it looks really cool. Magmetal, they didn't do a whole lot to this one. So I do think they failed on the Melmetal, I should say, which is the Melton evolution. And yeah, again, I think they could have done a lot more with that one, and it would have been a lot more successful. Metagross, they did change some of the colors on this one, so not a terrible job on it. Could have done maybe a little bit more on it to make it a little bit better, but not a terrible looking Pokemon. And Mewtwo. I love the shiny in Mewtwo. I have been working on powering this one up. I did run out of the XL candy, so I do need XL candy for Mewtwo. But I have been working on getting this guy maxed. You can see it is a level 43, and I really do like the green that they chose on it. I think it looks fantastic. Only a 60 IV on this shiny, which kind of sucks. But yeah, still. And this one here, level 27, 68, so a little bit better on that. But still, I really, really wish the IV was better on these guys. And then there is Mighty Ina, and this is the Poochyena evolution. I like the colors they chose on this one. It looks really, really cool. Better than the original even. So a great job there. They kind of went with darker colors to stick along with that dark theme, but it definitely stands out as different from the original. And Milotic. My shiny in this one is not great, but it is still a cool looking Pokemon, and I do like what they did with the shiny here. It's not, they didn't go any crazy colors or anything, but it's enough that you know it is shiny. It does look different. The Phoebus version of it, it does stand out a little bit more with the actual Phoebus. Minion, I think they kind of failed on this one. I think that they could have done a little bit better in making it stand out a little bit more as a shiny. So yeah, not overly impressed with that. Mismagius, I don't like the colors they chose for it, but kudos for changing the color, making it very different from the original. So I do have to give them kudos for that. But the color choice that they chose was kind of this, I don't know, snot green. Yeah, so not a great job on that one. Mothim, I do like Mothim in the shiny. I don't really see a point in using it too much in battle or anything, but not a bad look to it. And then we have Muck, which I think they kind of failed on Muck. They didn't really do too much to it to make it look like it really stands out or anything. Chose a different color, but still just, I don't know, doesn't stand out to me. The Alolan version of the shiny, again, they didn't do a whole lot to make it really stand out as a shiny. So again, a bit of a failure there. Musharna, which is the Munna evolution. I love the Munna in the shiny that they chose. That yellow stands out really, really well. And Musharna here, I like again what they did with Musharna. I do wish that they'd maybe carried the yellow forward that they chose for Munna into the Musharna a little bit more. So they could have done that maybe to tie them together a little bit more, but the colors they chose aren't terrible. And Nidoking, I like the blue actually that they chose for this one, better than the original purple, so I think that they did a good job on this one. And then we have Nidoqueen, which I absolutely hate what they did with this one. I think it looks absolutely hideous. But again, kudos to them for changing the color and making it an obvious shiny. And then we have Ninetales. I actually really like what they did with the shiny Ninetales. I think it looks really, really cool with that gray and the light blue comparison to it. I think it looks fantastic. It is the Vulpix evolution, and it is actually one of my favorite Pokemon because I think it looks so elegant. And then there's the Arctic version, which is, of course, the Alolan version. So we have fire and ice. And the ice version, they did stick with the ice theme. They kept it white. I think there's more they could have done with this one to make it stand out a little bit more from the original. So yeah, because it looks too close to what the fire type does in terms of the color. So maybe they could have gone with some more of the fairy pink tones in the tail as contrast, like they did with the original. And then there's Ninjask, which is the evolution of Nincada. And I love what they did with this one as well. Kind of a useless Pokemon again, but it the colors they chose for it are really really great. I think the gold tone really stands out. And then there's a Noctowl. Not a big fan of the colors that they chose for this one, but they did make it very different from the original. So great job there in terms of changing the colors. But there is more I think they could have done with this one to make it look a little nicer. And then there's Obstagoon. I love the shiny with this one. He looks really, really cool. And yeah, the compared to the Zigzagoon, the regular one, yeah, I think that they really knocked this one here out of the park. Got a couple Obstagoon, and then we've got Omastar, which is the Ammonite evolution. They chose purple instead of blue. That was the real difference here. They darkened the shell a little bit. So there's a lot more they could have done with this one. I think they kind of failed on Omastar. You can see with the shell, yeah, they just darken it slightly. Panpour, I'm not a big fan of what they've done with any of these pans, the Panpour, Pansage, and I thought it would be right next. But Pansage, Panpour, and I'm trying to think of the other pan. It's not coming to me right now. But I do have them all. But yeah, this guy in Shiny, I think they kind of failed with this one, and with the other two, they failed to really make it stand out, really to pop in terms of being really different. And then there's Parasect. Hate the colors they chose in this one. Absolutely hate these colors. But again, they did change the color from what the original was. But I think that they could have played along with the grass theme there and maybe gone with a darker green or something to make it really stand out. Whereas the Paris version, that red they chose actually looks really, really sweet. So you have the really nice Paris, and then you have the Parasect, and yeah, I wish that they had done more along the terms of maybe even keeping with that, what they did with Paris into the Parasect. And then Persian, complete flop. Just doesn't look anything different from the original. We'll move past that useless Pokemon. Pikachu, another one that I think that they fail on miserably, just because the colors don't change too much. Of course, this is a costume one, so it doesn't evolve into Raichu. But yeah, I think that with these, they have completely failed with the Pikachu shinies. Pinsir is one they were very successful on. I do like what they did with the purple, with the cream contrast, and it stands out as being very, very different from the original. So good job, Niantic, on that one. Really, really cool. And Plusly, another one, complete flop. It didn't do a whole lot to this one, and it really shows. They were kind of just lazy with this guy. Politoed, the Poliwag evolution, one of them. I do like what they did with this one. The colors do stand out. It's very different, and they're kind of cool. So good job on Politoed, Niantic. And then there's Poliwrath. Yes, I have the Lucky in this one as well. And I like the colors they chose for this one. And it stands out as being very, very different from the original. So I do like this one. With the Poliwag version, the very light blue that they chose for that, They just lightened the original a little bit, so I do think that with the Poliwag version, they could have done a little bit more. And Porygon Z, again, they changed the colors a lot to make it obvious that it's a shiny, so I do give them kudos for that. I like the colors that they chose on Porygon Z. Primeape, not a big fan of the colors they chose for Primeape. Doesn't stand out a whole lot as being really different from the original, just darkened slightly. So there's more they could have done with this guy to make it look a little better. And then there is Pyroar, another one that it's the evolution of Litleo. They could have done a lot more with this guy too, for something that is a cool Pokemon, but yeah, I don't think they did great with the shiny. I do not have the male shiny Litleo. I do want the male shiny Litleo. If you do have one, you can hit me up and maybe we can make a trade. Quagsire, again, not the most useful of Pokemon. I have only kept the shiny version to fill out my shiny decks. And he is purple, so very, very different from the original. So they did a good job on making that different. And then we have Qwilfish here. And Qwilfish is one that, it stands out. The original was the green. And so the purple makes it very different from that original. I'm not sure why I have that one marked as trade when it is one of the ones I'm keeping. And then I have the Lucky Raichu, and again, there's a lot more they could have done with this one to make it stand out as a shiny. And then there's the Christmas version and the flower event version in shiny. And then there's Raikou. I actually don't mind what they did with this one. They didn't change a whole lot with him. They did just make him darker, but I kind of like what they did with it. The darker with this one kind of suits with what he originally looked like. And then we have Rampardos. And I do like, again, the colors that they chose for this and the colors they chose for the Cranidos, the Unevolved version, with the red. I do like that one. Fairly new Pokemon, and I do think that they did a decent job with the shiny version. And then there is the Galarian Rapidash. I do like this one as well. I like what they've done with the colors. And of course it's Ponyta's evolution. So this one here is pretty cool. And then there is the regular Rapidash. I love the blue flames that they chose on this one, and with the Ponyta. I think that it does look really, really cool. And then there's Raticate, one of the most useful Pokemon. Just kidding. This guy, again, they did change the colors on it, so kudos for that. But this Pokemon is completely useless in both of its forms. They, again, did change the colors in both forms, but I'm not a big fan of that one. I did not keep the originals in it. Regirock. They didn't do a whole lot with this guy to make it, the shiny stand out. I think with the legendary, they really should make them stand out as being very different when they do these. So kind of a flop on the Regirock, disappointing. Still happy to have them in my decks. And I have the Lucky Shiny Registeel. I do like what they did with Registeel here. It stands out very different from the original one. This was actually my first lucky trade with somebody that was a lucky friend. So this was kind of cool to get this one here and be guaranteed it was going to be a lucky. And then Rhyperior. I do like this, what they did with the colors. Same with, this is of course the Rhyhorn evolution. It does stand out. The original, of course, is orange, and now they've gone yellow. And I like the color they chose for that. With Rhyhorn, I'm not a huge fan of the color they chose for just the regular Rhyhorn. But with Rhyperior, I do like that. Roserade, Yeah, I don't mind what they did with this one. Um, could they have done more? Yeah, they could have, but they did change the flower colors. But I kind of wish that they'd made her hair a funky color or something that stands out a little more. Sableye, this guy, I do like the color they've chosen for Sableye. It stands out as very different from the original purple color that this one comes in. And I know there's event ones in him too. Salamence, I did just acquire this guy here. And yeah, he is a fairly cool what they did with that with the green. I think it goes along well with the dragon theme of him, and I think that they were very successful in this one here. The person, all these things I've got, you can tell which ones I've traded for because they've got a lot of them have the levels and everything in the names. And then there is Samurott, which is the Oshawott evolution. I don't mind what they did with this one. I don't think that there was too much more that they really could have done with him. The coral color kind of goes along with that water sea type of Pokemon. So yeah, I like that one. Again, I traded for that guy. Sandslash. They darkened it a little bit. And to go along with that ice theme, I don't think there's too much they really could have done with this guy, except maybe make his belly a different color so that it would stand out more as being a shiny type. And then there is the regular type, which again, they didn't do a whole lot to this one. They kind of stuck with the ground theme, but there's more they could have done to make it stand out as being a shiny Pokemon, because everybody wants to tell that their Pokemon is shiny. Sock, really like what they did with this guy. I think it looks really cool. The blue that they chose for here does stand out. It pops as being very different from that original. So I actually think that they did a fairly decent job on this one here as well. And Sceptile, which is the Trico evolution. I love the colors they chose for this guy. I think they did a fantastic job on him. He looks really cool. So yeah, great job Niantic on Sceptile. And Scizor, again, I have Mega Evolved this one, and he looks really cool in Mega Evolution. I don't mind the colors that they chose on this one. Is there more that they could have done with it? No, not really, because the original is red, and this one here is that green, so it stands out as being very different, and the Mega Evolved looks really cool. And Scolipede, I think they kind of failed on this one. It's the Venipede evolution. Doesn't really look too different. They changed it a little bit to teal there, but yeah, again, there's not a whole lot they did with this one to make it obviously a shiny, so I do think that they failed on this one. So that is what we will cover in this one. We'll cover more in another video, so thank you all for tuning in, and